Hi, this is Gail. Welcome to Overcoming the Obstacles. This is where we talk about real obstacles that have been faced by real people and talk about how they overcame those challenges. Today, we're talking about single parenting and the importance of keeping a positive attitude no matter what happens. And we're going to hear from a lady who did just that. We're talking about Lost on Land again. She is a woman who is out there living life. She goes camping in, get this, a camper van. Giant land right now.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much for being on.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm just glad we finally got together, Gail.
Me too. I've admired your videos for quite a while now. I love your positive attitude and the way you just kind of grab life and just go for it.
Oh, thank you.
I want to show your channel. So let me go ahead and do a screen share of that. I love the channel because it really shows so much about how you just don't let obstacles get in your way. You know, there's a lot of single women who would be completely intimidated by having a van camper and going out and doing what you do.
Right. Yeah, I do have a blast in that van, that's for sure. I love traveling and exploring.
You can tell, it shows. Where would you like to start? I know you want to talk about having a positive attitude. I know you have a daughter.
Yes, I've got one daughter. She's 28 years old now. Like I said, I was a single mom from the time she was 3. And we just kind of handled life together and did what we had to do to get her raised up.
So not only did you survive single parenting, but you survived teenage years with a daughter.
Right. And my daughter's not your normal daughter. Sometimes I refer to her as like the badass. Yet she's a long distance hiker. She's a whitewater rafter. She's a downhill skier. She's a mountain climber. So it's pretty much nothing but worry all the time, even with her being 28 years old.
But you gave her wings. You raised her to have the confidence to go out and do that. That's only going to come from a confident mom.
Right. A lot of this was my fault. Yes.
Your fault. I think maybe your credit.
I wonder sometimes.
Single parenting is so hard because just childcare alone and getting that worked out as a single parent, you're talking about trusting somebody with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And just that alone is daunting. And like, how do you put supper on the table when you're dead on your feet? You know,
Mm-hmm.
all those challenges.
Yeah. Well, when she was young, I was going to college full time, and I went at night a lot of times, and I would take her to class with me. When she was in like the 2nd, 3rd grade, she would sit there and do her little homework and listen to the professor when she was done with her homework. So, I just kind of drug her along with me a lot, but I wanted her to see, mom doing what she needed to do and finishing that college degree.
There you go. We were talking about that on adults going back to school. We actually talked about taking the kids to class sometimes. You have to work it out with the professor. Not all of them, will let you do that. But
exactly.
I think more and more professors are kind of being more lenient as long as the kid is well behaved,
Well, I was lucky. I was majoring in elementary education. So I was bringing her along, and they were teaching us how to teach. And so she was kind of a tool. In fact, some of the teachers let her grade us on how well we were teaching.
Oh, funny. So you were each other's test case then.
Exactly. And then I remember I was taking like a science class, and they let her do an experiment and get up in front of the class too, because she had been through the whole class. So
how cool is that?
Yeah, so that worked out. Like I said, everything's just kind of fallen into place as it's needed. And so I've been very blessed with that.
That's great. Now, did she wind up going to college later in life?
Well, she started college right out of high school. And then she took a year off and hiked the Appalachian Trail. And then she went to college in Wisconsin and got her degree in outdoor education.
The outdoor education schools do so much good for so many kids. And it amazes me that a lot of people have never heard about them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, in the state we live in, Texas, every 5th grader has to take a block of outdoor education.
Hold on. I don't know what's going on here.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Somehow or other, can you repeat that? Because somehow or other, my video started playing.
Okay,
Okay,
you
sorry.
got it.
So
Okay.
the outdoor education, it
Mhm.
surprises me that a lot of people don't know about that.
Right. Well, in Texas, every fifth grader has to take a block of outdoor education. So, and
Wow.
it's in different counties or different. And so, like at one point, she worked at it was like a YMCA camp, but every fifth grader in Collin County went to that YMCA camp for this program that she helped run. So it's like I
That
said, it's
is
different everywhere. In Colorado, they get to go skiing for their outdoor education. So
that is the neatest thing. See, we don't have that in Tennessee at
mhm.
all, which
they,
you would
they
think
have
with the mountains.
something you just don't probably realize. Like they might just take them to the botanical gardens or to something like that. But there's a field trip somewhere in fourth or fifth grade that will do that block of outdoor education.
Wow, that's just fascinating to me.
Yeah.
And
So
so your love of the outdoors obviously transferred over to your daughter. How did you develop your love of the outdoors?
well, I was a Girl Scout for 11 years growing up, and I went to Girl Scout camp every summer, and so that was my real initiation into it, and also my family camp some too. So
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I was not a Girl Scout, but I developed a very deep appreciation for scouting because I used to work with juvenile offenders. And
Uh-huh.
in the whole time, out of working with a little over 100 juvenile offenders, we had kids who were in clubs, we had kids who were in band, kids who were in youth group. We had
Hmm.
one that was a scout.
Oh
One.
wow. Yeah. Well, I've
So
always said I learned more at Girl Scout camp than I did in all 12 years of school. That experience really defined who I was a lot.
I can see that. That experience with the juvenile offenders really impressed upon me. And so anytime somebody comes through and they're selling tickets for anything to do with scouts, I always try to buy it.
That's awesome.
I mean, it helps. So tell me more about yourself, just in general. Just tell me more about yourself there.
Um, you're gonna have to cut
Well,
this
you
out,
have a
Gail.
YouTube channel in the van, and
Okay.
you raised a successful daughter. So, how did you get the confidence within yourself to keep a positive attitude to raise your daughter and do all these things? Now,
Well,
single parenting is tough. I really
uh,
admire you.
I've always said I'm either not smart enough to be scared or not scared enough to be smart. I don't know. But I've always been one to just go out and just do it, and I've had this, I love to adventure and see new things. And I know a lot of times I've been somewhere all by myself out in the middle of nowhere thinking, is this smart? Well, I don't know, but it sure is fun. So, but yeah, so I don't really see it as like, I'm not really scared. And like I said, sometimes I probably should be, but I just love the adventure of it.
So, you not only kept a positive attitude, but you kept a sense of adventure. Did the
Hmm.
two kind of feed off of each other, that your sense of adventure helped you keep a positive attitude and vice versa?
Well, probably having so many good adventures, and having good outcomes helped a lot. I guess if I would have had some horrible experiences, and it would have had a different path. But but yeah,
Now, I know now
definitely.
you have the van camper. Uh,
Hmm.
how did you hear about that and decide to do that? We have one too, and people look at me really strange when I start talking about the van camper.
I know you went all the
People
way to
on YouTube understand, but people who are not on YouTube don't get it.
I loved that when you were going to Alaska in your van. So yeah,
Yeah.
I totally get it. But yeah, like I said, I was a tent camper for years, and then I moved up and camped in my SUV for a couple of years. And I just, you know, I guess I'm just getting older, and that tent thing doesn't appeal to me as much as it once did. And
Sure.
so the van is a really nice option because, yeah, I just really enjoy it. I can lock the doors, I can go to bed. It's different than having to get out, put up a tent. And
Yeah.
about 5 years ago, I went up to Colorado and camped by myself on the side of a mountain with a view of Long's Peak. And it was just one of the most awesome experiences to just be out there completely alone. I stayed out there 3 nights, and on the next morning I was leaving, and a bear ran across the road right in front of my van, or my car.
Oh, wow. See,
Camping by
that would have
myself.
made people leave right there.
Well, I was on my way out. So if I would have seen that coming in, that would have been a completely different.
I think it's neat that you were able to keep your love of the outdoors and share that with your daughter.
Yeah, I am too. I'm glad that I got to share that with her.
Plus, it gives you inexpensive outings. Relative, I
Mhm.
mean, you still have the cost of the equipment and the time off from work, but when it comes to going places, I mean, you're not spending $150 a night in a swanky hotel.
Exactly, and I'm able to cook, so I'm not having to eat out, and it's definitely the best way I've ever traveled, that's for sure.
So, going back to when you found out you were going to be a single parent, that must have been a very difficult time.
Well, it was, but I had to kind of stay focused on keeping a normalcy for my daughter. So I didn't want to freak out or act like anything was different. I had to act like everything was just a-okay and we're just plodding along. And so it just kind of kept rolling from there. And like I said, I didn't ever see it as an obstacle so much as just this is happening now and this is how I have to get through it. So, like I said, just I had to get a second job and I had to figure out what to do with her. My brother did help watch her sometimes and things like that. But
Oh,
yeah.
good. So I was fixing to ask if you had support from your family or friends.
Mhm. Yep, I'm again very blessed. I've got a brother very close by and a sister about a mile away too. So that helped a lot when Jessie was little. Yeah,
Plus, it had to be a load off your mind when she was younger to know you had somebody who cared about her watching her.
exactly
Yeah.
that. And they didn't charge me, so that helped.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's love. That's just
yes,
love.
it is.
It also sounds like accepting the situation made a
Mhm.
difference.
Well, sure. Like I said, I could have gotten upset about it. I could have, done a lot of things, obviously, but instead, I just tried to keep a cool head. When my daughter wasn't looking, I might fall apart a little bit, and then um, some friends of mine helped me out. I ended up with a roommate, which is how I could actually handle it financially. And like I said, just did
Oh, nice.
what I needed to do to keep things normal for her. She probably helped me through that more than I helped her.
Aw, so it was a teamwork, even with her being 3.
Yes, yes,
And
indeed.
then you going to college and taking her to college with you. I just love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah,
But
it
it
was
still
very.
must have been, there still must have been moments where you just wanted to pull your hair out because
Oh,
all parents
definitely.
have those, whether you're a
Mhm.
single parent or not.
Definitely, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
But like I said, you just kind of have to deal with it, as minute by minute most days. Yeah.
that makes sense.
Hmm.
Just kind of break it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like how you eat an elephant, one bite at a
Mhm.
time.
So I used to tell myself you can do anything for an hour. You can sit through an hour soccer game, you can sit through an hour class, you can, whatever you need to do, you can do it for an hour.
So you had her involved in Girl Scouts and
Hmm.
soccer, and you were
Hmm.
involved in school and so forth.
Hmm.
And yet you still worked not just one, but 2 jobs, and
Yeah.
you went to school, and you
Hmm.
kept a positive attitude. Lady, that's sainthood.
We were
I mean,
busy.
really,
when she
really.
when she started playing hockey, things got real.
Oh, I would have let my daughters do it, but that just would have been
Yeah.
heart stopping for me because of the
Hmm.
injury rate in hockey.
Yeah. She was on the boys hockey team in high school.
Even worse, the
I
boys
know.
hockey team.
You would think.
Wow.
Yeah. I let her play one girls tournament, and those girls were so ugly that I told her she wasn't allowed to play with girls anymore. She had to go back to the boys.
Oh no.
Hmm.
It's a shame that girls would be ugly,
Yeah.
but that's kind of the reality, I think,
Hmm.
sometimes of teenage years.
Yeah.
My
Yeah. And
kids used to call some of the folks that they went to school with frenemies because they
yeah.
were friends, but they were so competitive. My hat is off to you.
Well, thank you. Said it
Oh,
wasn't me. It was her being a determined little kid, I tell you. And she hasn't
it
changed.
it sounds like she got that from her mom.
Yeah, that's what they
Yeah.
say.
So I'm hearing positive mindset. I'm hearing determination. I'm hearing good support network. You know,
Definitely.
well,
Yeah. And just, yeah, like I said, one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, you can do anything.
yeah. What would you say was a moment or a time or a grade where things were the most difficult?
Well, I lost my mom about 8 months after my divorce. So that was a really rocky
Wow.
year. Yeah,
So you had double losses.
I
You
did.
had
And
the
so, yeah, that was probably the hardest time. But again, I had a lot of support, or I probably wouldn't have made it through that. Yeah.
it sounds like guys may have all pulled together to get through everything.
Mhm. Yeah. And I had a lot of good friends step in too. So, yeah.
Friends are wonderful. I mean, good family, good friends, you're
Uh-huh.
set for life.
Exactly.
Honestly.
Yes. Yes. So, yeah, I've been very lucky that everything's, kind of fallen into place when it needed to sometimes. So,
But you're also, you come across even on your YouTube channel as a quality person and someone who has quality people in her life.
mhm.
Not everybody has that knack and that ability to surround themselves with people who will be there for them. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know how I get so lucky to have these awesome people in my life. You have some really good friends, but I'm just glad I do.
you seem like the type of person who would be there completely for your friends just as they are for you. That attracts people who are like minded.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. I'd do anything for my friends.
So in one of your videos, you talked about trail magic,
Mhm.
and I made it, like I said, a donation, and I've got that video coming up at some point. Say more about trail magic and what it was like for you to have a daughter on the Appalachian Trail.
Well, when my daughter started hiking the Appalachian Trail, she was 18 years old. So I was a
Ah,
nervous wreck. I mean, it was horrible. It was the worst 5 months of my life. But she was having a ball. And I would hear her stories every day about the different people that would help her, or she came across a hiker feed, or somebody gave her a ride, and just all the things when there was a need they would give. So I thought, I've got to go pay it back, pay it forward, whatever. And I have had such a ball doing that trail magic. It's like the
nice.
highlight of my year. It's so fun.
For people who don't know really what trail magic is, can you explain that for them?
Sure. So with the Appalachian Trail, it's a 2,200 mile roughly footpath through 14 states. And a lot of times it'll be from trail town to trail town. But sometimes there's 3, 4, 5 days worth of hiking, depending on how fast you hike between towns. And those kids, and well, adults too, just all ages hike. They might need, they might be running low on water, or they might be running low on food, or they might be injured. And so if you can put yourself somewhere where there might be a higher need, which I got a lot of input from my daughter, this is where I was hungry, then you can really
Okay.
make somebody's hike, you can completely change a day. And if somebody's walking up going, I've got 4 more miles and I am out of water, and you fill up both their water bottles and then give them a snack, that's you've made their day in a big way.
When I was talking to the ranger, and it just really occurred to me that this trail magic helps people change their lives and encounter who they are.
And it gives them, they realize all people aren't bad. I guess it gives them a better perspective on that there really are a lot of very good people out there that'll help you. I can't think of the words, but yeah, it gives them just that it lets them know that there are people out there that really are good. And just like for the trail magic givers, and you meet all these awesome hikers with such great attitudes and great stories, and then they enrich your life, and then you feel like they've given you more than you've given them. That's a pretty cool thing.
Am I also hearing some shades of trail magic kind of throughout your life that's kind of helped you get through the single parenting route?
Sure. Yeah, there's been a lot of little magic in my life, people stepping up to help when I needed it and being there, when I didn't know what else to do, and it just, like I said, kind of fell into place. So yeah, go and give back a little of that on the trail. It's definitely a good thing.
My hat's just off to you. Part of the time that we're talking, I'm just speechless thinking about all you've done, all you've achieved, and raising a daughter. I know you've had a lot of help, but at the end of the day, it all falls on you. I mean, that's the way parenting works.
Right.
You're supportive, you're going out, you're dropping trail magic, which you're doing, for her, even though it may not directly benefit her. And just you've been supportive all of her life. It sounds like so many single moms draw the line at their kids being in any kind of programs. You've mentioned Girl Scouts, soccer, hockey. So many single parents are so overwhelmed that their kids can't do those things, and
It's
yet
hard.
you did it.
It's very hard for sure. But like I said, I only missed 2 soccer games, and that was because of a friend's wedding and because I was sick. And other than that, I made every one of her activities. Yeah. So it's hard, but you can do anything for an hour.
So going through all of this and looking back at your life and everything you've accomplished as a single parent, what kind of advice or what would you say to other single parents?
I guess the biggest thing is enjoy the moment while you have it. As they're growing, enjoy every minute and share everything you can with them. Teach them what you can, just especially about nature and what's around them. Make them appreciate what's going on. Teach them to love their earth, teach them to love themselves, and just reinforce that every day. And everything will come out fine in the end, hopefully.
Yay. Well, I'm glad.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad you were able to keep a positive attitude and all you've accomplished. Just going back to school alone is that one thing is just over the top amazing. But add everything else and allowing her to be in the after school programs and all you've done, you must have a sense of accomplishment.
I do, and every time I look at her trophy cabinet, I see all that accomplishment. It's pretty awesome.
Well, is there anything before we go that you can think of that you want to say?
Like I said, if you're a single mom out there, yes, there are times when you are just ready to pull your hair out. Just take a deep breath and look at your child and realize that it's going to be okay. And yep, you can do anything for an hour.
Okay, now I have a couple of questions for you. These are the big, tough questions.
Right.
Okay. Let me pull them up on my phone. Okay, real quick. What was your favorite food as a child?
Spaghetti.
See, I told you these would be tough.
Spaghetti.
Yay. Okay. Beanie Weenies or mac and cheese?
Mac and cheese.
There we go. And what chore do you absolutely hate doing?
Oh my goodness. Any chore. Dusting.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, if you can look around my house and tell, dusting must be my least favorite. Yes.
And strawberry or blueberry?
Strawberry.
There you go.
Those were tough, Gail.
I'm telling you. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on Overcoming the Obstacles. By all means, go check out her channel. You'll love it.
Thank you very much, Gail. I really appreciate you having me. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Well, that was Lola from Lost on Land again. Now, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe. And please share about the channel because it's the best way to share the encouragement and share the hope. We are #overcoming. We're about real people and real obstacles and how they found a way through them. Leave me your comments down below. Tell me what kind of obstacles you've come through and what kind of obstacles that you would like to see featured on the show. Let me know. Again, #overcoming. for overcoming the obstacles. Click like, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Wednesday at noon. Bye.